Welcome to Business Review, a daily program that delves into the latest and most significant economic stories, from stock markets to currency news. Business Review covers the most up-to-date developments in the global financial world.
Titanium dioxide company in Baiyun city of northwest China's Gansu province. The project is comprehensive utilization project of 500,000 tons of clean production process resources with a total investment of 6 billion yuan. The first phase of the project has been put into operation. The second, of 400,000 tons of titanium dioxide coarse product project, is scheduled to start in September. It's expected to become the world's largest high-end titanium manufacturing technology enterprise in the next 3 to 5 years. The operation of the project will be of great strategic significance for the economy's development and promotion of industrial transformation. Titanium dioxide, commonly known as industrial monosodium glutamate, is mainly applied to fields in industrial, in addition to architectural coating, industrial painting, antiseptic painting, printing ink, and powder coating.
The head of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, or the UNHCR, Filippo Grandi, said that Lebanon must reform its political and economic system to rebound from the devastating explosion which hit Beirut. Grandi has been on a tour of the ravaged city, seeing for himself the damage caused when explosive materials stored in the port detonated on August 14th. Killing at least 179 people and wounding some 6,000 others. He said if the political system does not reform itself, if the economy does not start working and functioning and being of benefit to all Lebanese, not just to the rich ones, not just to the corrupt elites, then there will be no resilience. Grandi added that the Lebanese people have to find leadership in their own institutions and they have to themselves get out of this crisis. More than 1 million refugees from the Syrian war have poured into Lebanon since 2011 when the conflict there erupted, and Grandi visited some of those affected by the explosion. Foreign humanitarian aid poured in after the disaster, but donors have made clear they will not bail out the state without reforms to tackle entrenched corruption and mismanagement.
Analysts said the recovery of the U.S. labor market is expected to go forward very hard as the number of Americans filing for jobless benefits for the first time increased again in July after weeks of declines. The confirmed COVID-19 cases in the United States expanded by tens of thousands every day, which continued to impact the American economy, especially catering, tourism, and entertainment. The Labor Department said in a report the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits increased by 135,000 to reach 1.1 million in the week ending August the 15th. As COVID-19 shutdowns rippled through the workforce, initial jobless claims spiked by 3 million to reach a record 3.3 million in the week ending March the 21st, and then doubled to reach a record 6.87 million in the week ending March the 28th. After that, the number had been declining for 15 weeks consecutively, though they were still at historically high levels before the trend was reversed in the week ending July the 18th amid a resurgence of cases. The number then fell to 963,000 in the week ending August the 8th, the first time it has dipped below the 1 million mark since mid-March, but the trend reversed once again last week in another setback for the struggling job market in the United States. With the latest numbers, a staggering 57 million initial jobless claims have been filed over the past 22 weeks, indicating mounting economic fallout related to the pandemic. A senior fellow of Brookings Institution, Gary Burtless, said the recovery pace of the labor market has greatly slowed due to the uncontrollable epidemic in the country. Burtless expected improvement will be slower in the job market in August and probably a lot slower because relief payments have been cut.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has stressed the importance of integrated development and innovation during his inspection tour to East China's Anhui province. President Xi, also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, visited a workshop of Magang Group of China Bao Steel Group in Manshan City during the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Magang Group, with its timely resumption of operations, reported year-on-year growth in both output and revenues. This shows the strong resilience of the state-owned economy, the president said. He encouraged Magang Group to seize the opportunities provided by the integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta, noting that innovation is the key for Anhui to accelerate its integration into the development of the Yangtze River Delta and achieve a leapfrog development of local economy. The president acknowledged the achievements the province has made in technological innovation and developing strategic emerging industries when visiting the Anhui Innovation Center located in the provincial capital city, Hefei.
A California appeals court on August the 20th avoided a shutdown of ride-hailing services Uber and Lyft in the state, effectively handing a decision over gig worker benefits and pay to voters in November ballot measure. The companies said that they would be unable to comply with the new state law that would consider their drivers employees entitled to benefits such as minimum wage, overtime, and sick pay and unemployment insurance instead of independent contractors. Jerome Gage has been a Lyft driver for 5 years. He says he does not expect the rideshare companies to make any changes that benefit drivers. He's not sure how optimistic he is about them making the actual changes. The last-minute ruling in a case with potential ripple effects across the global gig economy means drivers can continue working as independent contractors while the appeals court considers the question of driver status. But the court, which has scheduled arguments in the case for October the 13th, is not likely to rule before a November the 3rd ballot measure puts the decision into the hands of the California voters. While the future of thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers is uncertain, Luz Laguna, a single mother of 4 children, says she's suffering from emotional stress and hopes for a positive outcome. Laguna has been an Uber driver for more than 2 years and has been driving for Uber Eats, delivering takeout food since the pandemic started.
The coronavirus pandemic threw tens of millions of Americans out of work, ended the longest U.S. economic recovery on record, and undermined a key argument for President Donald Trump's re-election. Now, the Republican president and his Democrat opponent in the November 3rd election, Joe Biden, have to convince Americans who can get the economy back on track. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, Trump has signed legislation to flush the economy with trillions of dollars in one-time aid to businesses, individuals, and local governments. The president also pushed states to reopen as quickly as possible, even as infections spiked. Trump has repeatedly highlighted on Twitter and to reporters the stock market's stunning run-up, making it part of his case for re-election this November. The benchmark S&P 500 has squeaked into positive territory for the year. Trump is juggling a pandemic that has killed more than 160,000 Americans, an economy that cratered after lockdowns to stop the spread of the virus, and a national uproar over racial injustice and police brutality after the death in May of George Floyd, an unarmed African American in police custody. The surge in U.S. coronavirus cases is beginning to weigh on economic activity, with the head of the Federal Reserve promising that the U.S. Central Bank would do what it can to limit the damage and boost growth. The U.S. Central Bank slashed interest rates to zero and launched the first of nearly a dozen lending and other programs designed to keep financial markets from imploding. They're also aimed to caution the economy from the oncoming shock of mass layoffs and business closures when country began a shutdown to slow the spread of the virus, leading to some 30 million people sought unemployment insurance over the past 6 weeks. Trump has repeatedly attacked Powell for keeping interest rates too high, even as the Fed last year cut rates 3 times, blaming the Fed's policy for holding back economic growth. Last June, Trump said he had the right to fire Powell, and in August, Trump said he would not try to stop Powell if he offered to resign. The Fed guards its political independence closely, and officials consider its ability to set rates without fear of reprisal or influence from the administration or Congress as key to its credibility and effectiveness.
This has been Business Review, your daily source for the most critical financial stories. Tune in next time for the latest financial news impacting the world economy.